In our super complex digital world, when something inevitably goes wrong, the big question isn't just what broke, but why it broke. Today, we're going to demystify observability, the key to turning that frustrating why into a clear, actionable answer. So let's go ahead and turn on the lights.
So picture this. Your company's entire digital setup is like a massive, sprawling city. You've got microservices acting like skyscrapers, cloud providers as the power grids, and APIs as this incredibly complex transit system. It's awesome, it's alive, but a single traffic jam or a power outage, a critical app crashing, can bring the entire city to a grinding halt.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start in the chaos of modern systems. Then we'll meet our hero, observability. We're going to break down the 3 pillars it stands on, look at the real-world business payoff, and finally, we'll get a little peek into what's next, the automated future.
So, let's dive right into the problem. See, our applications, they aren't simple single buildings anymore. Oh no. They're these vast distributed ecosystems, and all that complexity brings a whole new level of chaos with it.
You've been there, right? The system is slow, but where? A feature is failing, but is it the code, the database, some third-party service you rely on? These are the kinds of questions that literally keep engineers up at night. Without that deep visibility, your teams are just scrambling in the dark, trying to connect the dots while your customers get more and more frustrated.
And this, right here, is where observability swoops in to save the day. And look, it's not just another buzzword or tool. It's a totally different way of thinking about and understanding our systems. It's like giving your team X-ray vision for your entire digital city.
So what is observability, really? Well, technically, it comes from this engineering idea called control theory about understanding a system's insides from its outside signals. But for us, what really matters is the practical definition. It's the power to ask any new question about your system, even questions you didn't know you needed to ask, and actually get a real answer.
And let's be super clear on this. Observability is not just a fancy new name for monitoring. It's a fundamental difference. Monitoring is reactive. It tells you if something you're already watching has broken. It handles the known unknowns. But observability? It's proactive. It gives you the tools to investigate the unknown unknowns, those totally bizarre, unpredictable failures that happen in complex systems, by letting you ask why things are acting so strange.
Now, this superpower isn't magic. It's built on a really solid foundation of data, which really comes in 3 core types. So let's unpack these 3 pillars of observability. So these 3 data types, we're talking logs, metrics, and traces. They all work together to give you this complete, multi-dimensional view of your system's health. You can't just have one. Each one tells you a totally different but crucial part of the story.
First up, we've got logs. Now, these are the most granular, nitty-gritty details. Think of them like a reporter's notepad, just jotting down every single thing that happens with a timestamp. When you absolutely need to know exactly what specific error happened at a precise moment, you look at the logs. And tools like Grafana Loki are just fantastic at pulling all these different notes into one spot.
Okay, next pillar, metrics. These are your numbers, CPU usage, memory, response times. They don't tell you about a single event, but they give you the big picture, the overall health and the scale of what's going on. Is just one server having a bad day, or is the entire cluster on fire? Metrics, often handled by awesome systems like Grafana Mirror or Prometheus, they tell you exactly that.
And finally, we have traces. Honestly, in today's world of microservices, this is your secret weapon. A trace follows one single user request from the moment they click, all the way through every single service it touches, and all the way back. It shows you the entire journey so you can pinpoint exactly where that bottleneck or failure is happening. And a tool like Grafana Tempo just visualizes these crazy journeys beautifully.
Okay, so we've got logs, metrics, and traces. That's all great for the engineers, right? But why should the business care? Well, because turning all this technical insight into action has a massive, tangible impact on the bottom line.
Think about it. When you can solve problems way faster, your mean time to resolution, your MTTR, just plummets. And that means less downtime, better performance, which leads directly to happier customers and protected revenue. You can finally untangle that complex city map, release new code with way more confidence, and you know what? You can innovate faster.
And hey, these aren't just vague promises. Look at this number. Travelport, these guys handle billions of travel plans. They cut the time it takes them to even detect a problem by a whopping 75%. That's not an improvement, that's a total game changer. Or how about Valera? By having this deep insight, they got their mean time to repair down to under 15 minutes. Now, for their clients, who are credit unions, that kind of reliability isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely critical for keeping people's trust.
I absolutely love this quote from Valera's VP of Ops. He says it perfectly captures the feeling. Going from old-school monitoring to true observability isn't just a small step up. It's like flipping a switch and going from complete darkness to total clarity.
But here's the really cool part. Just seeing what's happening is only the beginning. All this incredible data you're collecting through observability, well, that becomes the fuel for the next big evolution, making our systems not just responsive, but actually intelligent.
And this is the key question that's driving the whole industry forward. I mean, what if that bustling city could automatically reroute traffic before a jam even starts to form? That's where AI for IT operations, or AIOps, starts to get really interesting.
So, AIOps basically takes all those logs, metrics, and traces your system is generating and feeds them into machine learning models. These models, they learn what normal looks like for your system. And then they can spot tiny little deviations to predict future problems and sometimes even trigger automated fixes before a human even gets an alert.
So, wow, we've gone from chaos to clarity, and then from clarity to prediction. It's a really powerful shift that's completely redefining how we build and manage technology today.
And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Every single system you have produces data, just mountains of it. Sure, you can see some of it on a dashboard, but true observability isn't about just seeing data. It's about having a conversation with your system. So the real question you have to ask yourself is this: can you ask your system anything